armies, and then his people will know he is God. Amen.
Yes, and most of them are of the serpent seed line anyway, who won't acknowledge him as God.
That's true.
So you have a real problem over there because the numbers are so small of the true remnant that's over there now. We probably have a larger remnant here in America.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
When you try to correlate both countries and what's going on with prophecy, I was getting to the point where I was thinking modern-day Jerusalem would be Washington, D.C. or New York City. New York City used to be the capital of America.
Right.
At one time, and now it's D.C. And so you've got three capitals that are dominant in the last days. Is it really Jerusalem of Israel, or is it D.C. of the United States?
Yeah, that's definitely
because that's the capital of most of the true Israelites today. And I look at it both ways. I keep my eyes open. I know both interpretations, but I think a lot of people that when they see this China and Russia attack coming, that could be the war of Ezekiel 38 and 39. We can't pinpoint it reading the text.
Well, if that's how it goes down, and our speculation is correct, it's really not that far out of the realm of possibility when you step back.
Oh yeah, I mean I see a total devastation in the United States in 2009, 2010. All-out wars. Our cities are flattened. China, Russia, and Iran being involved. And a lot of countries, and so these are the same countries mentioned in Ezekiel 38 and 39.
Well, this country could be leveled, and like you're talking about, just from their technology. They wouldn't have to send in armies.
Yeah, exactly, by their own missiles and their own laser beam technology, scalar weapons.
And the scalar technology itself.
They just come in and do cleanup. And they've already given the Chinese the right to the land. They don't want the land, they just want to get rid of the bullies. Our government. And so
our government's run by the same people that's running them.
Yeah, but like I've said, when push comes to shove, the Satan freaks are going to go at it to see who gets to control the New World Order.
Right.
They all agree now in concept that they want a New World Order.
That's right.
But they all think they're going to be able to rule it.
Right. The demons are bickering over who's going to be in charge, you're saying.
Exactly. There's going to be a lot of cutthroat double-crossing when it comes down to it. and so that's why you're going to see a lot of betrayals.
Wow.
There's no honor amongst Satan freaks. I don't even know what it is.
One last thing, and I know I've said that a couple times. Are you familiar with Cooper and some of his teaching about Amun-Ra and the sun god and sun worshiping in the modern day church here in America, and how they got the church is worshiping, a false doctrine?
How the church is worshiping Baal.
Is what?
A false Baal. Jesus.
Yeah, but he makes it sound like the Bible was actually manipulated. Like the words were changed to make it something different.
Well, I believe that the Lord's word is in the Bible.
Right, I do too.
But I don't believe that the entire Bible itself has not been untouched.
Right.
I do believe there's a lot of translation problems, but they did get their hands in it with King James, who was an Illuminati, Freemason, homosexual pedophile.
Right.
And some people will try to ignore that and say, well, the Lord can still preserve His word, even using him, and that's true. Sorry. But I also think that the Bible is being used as a modern-day Garden of Eden, where you have your tree of good and evil and your tree of life. And so it takes the Lord. I mean, why does He say to seek Him and His guidance in reading the Word? Because there's things in it that aren't of Him.
I really think a lot of it boils down to what's right. God said He's going to judge your heart.
Yeah, I think people, the Lord told me a long time ago when I kept asking Him what these idols are, because He's so angry with the churches today. He calls them whores, that they're idol worshippers. And it comes down to two things. They worship the Bible, and they worship their pastors more than Him.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to Him.
That's right.
Everybody pulls out the KJV. They will search that relentlessly 8 hours a night and not just go to Him in prayer and talk to Him direct and ask Him for truth directly.
And you know what? You hit it right on the head there. My whole life, thank God I never was really active in a church, because if I did, or was, which I'm obviously not supposed to be, but if I was, I could see myself getting caught up in that stuff like these people do, rather than stepping back, being rebellious and questioning everything.
Oh, I was totally indoctrinated in the churches. I grew up in them. I was one of these people that would spend hundreds, thousands of hours in the Bible, reading it, books hundreds of times a piece, certain chapters. I mean, I had by the time I was 16, I probably read the Bible from back to front cover to cover more times than most pastors and churches today. I was an avid Bible reader. I read it all the time.
Right.
And, you know, you have to step back and realize you're reading that thing more than you're talking to him yourself.
Huh.
You know, people spend all their time trying to read it, and he says in the Bible that they search the scriptures for salvation.
I read it today sometimes, and I find myself wondering, you know, trying to figure out what's being said. So it really is, it's in your heart. I think that a lot of it, you know, the elect of the last days, you know, his church is, you know, the elect, which is why, you know, he shortened the days, is for his elect's sake. And
yeah, well, you know what, on my audio site, I've been putting a lot of the Nag Hammadi books. And I've been spending a lot of time in the Nag Hammadi library. And these are books that were found and buried in early Christianity.
What website is that?
If you go to SherryAudios.com.
Okay.
I've got a lot, towards the bottom, a lot of the books and audio text in the Nag Hammadi library.
Okay.
And I've been reading those books, and these are these books that they found as part of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay, right.
And they were part of the Essene followers of the early church.
Uh-huh.
And they never made it past the persecutions. This is like the only ones that were found.
Oh, wow.
That were buried. And so that's what I've always said. If you want to know what the truth is, you've got to go back before 300 A.D.
Oh, yeah, you've got to dig, no doubt.
Because anything after 300 A.D. has been manipulated and part of the Roman Catholic Church agenda since. I mean, we've got, you know, what's his name? 325, Council of Nicaea, Constantine, deciding what dogmas the church is going to teach and what they aren't. And he's a Mithra worshiper.
Uh-huh.
You know, you've got the church following after Paul, who was a Mithra worshiper. You know, and so if you want to know the truth, you got to go back and find out what the disciples themselves taught and what the early church really taught before 200 A.D., before the persecution started, wiping out all of the books back then, because they got rid of all those books, and they got rid of all the believers that were protesting what they wanted to do before they could start implementing what they wanted to do.
You know, that might be an area, since you're going to be having some free time, obviously not having to put these shows together, where you might want to focus on that a lot and put your energies in there.
Yeah, well, I do, and you know, I started putting those in the audios, and I had those converted to audio text files so people could listen to it, because a lot of it's just easier to listen to than read. But I do have a link on that site where you can just go read it. A lot of those books, and you know what? A lot of these books that they're finding, part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, completely confirm the serpent seed line theory.
Wow.
Completely confirm it.
Wow.
I was floored to see that last week.
Wow.
You know, the Apocrypha of John and some of these other books completely confirm the same theory. They totally believed in a serpent seed line. I've been saying it just in my articles, and just we're using the KJV, and here all these books that they're digging up that were buried, part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, are saying the same things. You know, there was definitely two seed lines going.
No, there's no doubt about it. They're probably a minority, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder about my ex-wife.
But you know what? They've always dominated money, so just follow the money. They've always dominated the money. They've always been the movers and shakers throughout every century of economics and government and money.
Right.
You know, and then there's everybody else who's not of this world, who really doesn't feel at home here, and just follows the Lord and wants to be left alone and do their own thing. They always find themselves at the end of their persecutions. And we're going to do that again in the last days. We're going to find ourselves at the end of their persecutions, because there's not one agenda, whether it be New Age, Alien, or New World Order, that can tolerate Christians as part of their agenda.
That's right.
And they got to get rid of them. So it doesn't matter which faction is in charge. All three of those are fighting it out. It doesn't matter to us which one wins, because whichever one wins, we're at the end of the persecution on all of them.
Hey, that's right. Finally, the end is near. Hey, I'll let you go, but try to get working out where you can at least get like a show on once a month or once every third week or something. I'd hate to see you completely gone. Yeah,
well, you know what? You know, if donations come in during the month of September, the next week or so, I can get it in and secure October.
Okay.
But that's basically all it is, because I'm totally donation run. The donations I got in covered the website expenses. Very thankful for that. I've got to cover website expenses before I go on to radio.
Nothing's free. It's only going to get more expensive.
Yeah, and I